you all for the time, and we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech. That was a fake countdown. This is the real countdown. 3, 2. No, just kidding. That one's fake. Here's the real one. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Chris, what do we know, if there is anything to know?
Yeah, sorry if I fumbled that transition there. That's on me. Cowan is the consummate professional, and I maybe turned the ball over right there. So I need to, work on my ball security. Oops. I was told, I don't know, fairly recently, Micah Hudson is not really involved in anything we're doing or planning on or whatever. It's just not even in our thought process anymore. I also know that things could change, and that's not like it's not an indictment on the kid or anything like that. It's just like we've kind of moved on. When I'm talking about a potential addition to your receiving group, I don't factor him in at all, and I don't think he would be a factor. I just don't. I think that there's a lot that needs to happen for him to actually factor into the product on the field in a big way.
Yeah.
Being on the roster is one thing. Getting a second chance is another. But I'm talking about the 2025 version of Texas Tech. I think that is far, far fetched. That even if he does show back up here late spring, early summer, that would really matter. And maybe I'm the one that should not talk about it in that way, but that's the way I feel about it.
No, by the way, Chris, when we were talking about that yesterday, we were talking about filling reliable playmaking shoes of Josh Kelly's. And so to immediately zoom to Hudson there is insane. The dude has never filled reliable playmaking shoes of anybody on this level, so he doesn't even really fit the context. I get why it enters the mind, but I think that context was important.
And this is what you were about to do too. I mean, like at the end of last year and in the bowl game, this is exactly what this was the opportunity that was presented to him. Hey man, we'll move some things around, but you're starting, and you're going to be a heavy, piece of what we're doing. But again, things changed, decisions were made, and here we are. I don't think he's anywhere right now. I don't even know if he's technically even in the portal. Truth be told, I don't even know if he's actually in the transfer portal right now. I do expect him to resurface at some point somewhere. And I hope it's not like a Baylor at TCU. I just don't want to have to deal with all that anymore. But I just know a lot needs to happen for him to be a major contributing factor on one of these teams. Somebody will get a little PR. Maybe it's Tech. Maybe it's one of these other schools. Maybe it's a smaller school. Maybe it's a massive SEC school again, like A&M was. I don't know. Somebody will get a lot of PR. But, I mean, after the last, say, 4 months of kind of watching this play out, it's no sure thing. And I think as much as of a bath that Texas Tech took from a public relations standpoint when this thing played out the way it did, I think people now go, I guess there really was maybe more to this or other side of the story and all that stuff, and so we'll see what happens here, but I do not. I don't think he's factoring into your immediate plans. And again, if he does, I think you would open arms. Let's get after it. But again, he'd have to kind of rework his way all up the food chain here.
This one from John. With the portal process, are coaches dealing with agents when it comes to negotiating deals? Is it more one-on-one with a player and his family? How's it working more often than not?
Every situation's different. I think that, in a basketball sense, Kellen Buffington is dealing with an agent. I think that every situation is different from the standpoint of you could absolutely be dealing directly with the player if you know the player. At some point that happens. I think that football is very careful not to involve like position coaches into the money and the NIL part of it. I think Joey dabbles a little bit just so he's familiar and tries to help seal the deal or whatever. But that's a James Blanchard. And then you've got your people on behalf of the collective. This is the way that this has been working with the Matador Club that get involved with the agent and they want to start talking finances and talking contract and all that. So, spin the wheel. I mean,
Gotcha.
it's all of it is a yes at some level. Yeah, I mean
Sure.
that's just the way it works.
All right, this one from Roger. Is tech behaving like we need to get everything that will be done outside of revenue sharing prior to April 7th? Or are we not behaving like that's the deadline and revenue sharing rule won't take effect until July 1st? And I guess this goes back to the basketball specific convo we were having.
Yes, you are, but you're flying blind a bit in that, and everybody is in that you just don't know exactly what will happen, because I think you and I have talked about this enough to this is the day where we think that this case will be ruled upon. And at that point, you better have collective deals agreed to, signed, and everything. It doesn't mean the money has to be paid out by this date, but the contracts have to be done. Otherwise, they're null and void. And you've got this window here to where you can give these guys pay to play money right out of the collective, and you can front load it as long as all those monies are paid out by, I think, June the 30th. If this is not ruled on that date, and maybe it's the can is kicked down the road a bit, then I don't know what that new date would be. But then there's also the thought that they could kick the can down the road, but then when they rule on it, whenever they've, wherever the can landed, hey, we're going to retroactively put in place that any deal not done on the 7th is null and void. So if you've done anything in this meantime, you're out of luck. So that's why I think there's some urgency, there's some pressure to operate as April the 7th. And is it noon on the 7th? Is it midnight the 7th? Is it when the clock strikes midnight on the 6th? I don't know exactly when we're nailing this down here, and I don't know when they're scheduled to actually drop the gavel and rule on it or kick the can down the road. I'm just saying that's the date that everybody's pointed to. But it's not like 100% guarantee that that's what's going to happen. So there's all these kind of moving parts, and that's why I'm saying you're flying blind. I just know this. There's nothing wrong with getting deals done before the 7th, because then at that point you're safe and protected.
Gotcha. Okay. One more from Roger. Speaking of flying blind, if you're flying anywhere, blind or otherwise, Roger probably knows where you are and where you're going. Roger checking in as the chief surveillance officer, apparently, of the Matador Mob. He says, flight tracking season is upon us. What was going on with that private jet that went from Lubbock to College Station this morning? Thought to be a Tech donor jet, as it was in San Francisco and I believe Wichita as well, while Tech was playing at both places. Wow. Don't cross Roger. Yeah. Yes, Chris. What was going on with these private jets?
Yeah, I large in part know which planes operate, and I don't believe a plane ones that would be involved here.
Okay.
Yeah, made that flight. So I don't think that 1 + 1 = 2 in this particular example, but I'm a fan of flight tracking season, though. I mean, we used to, but it because I'll just tell you this: some of the important planes involved that would be used have paid a fee to have their tail number hidden.
Oh, even from Roger?
Even from Roger. No offense, Roger, but hidden from everyone. Yeah. So there's that.
Didn't know I was going to get a little flight tracking tidbit before the end of the show. That's why you stay till the end. Dwight and Todd wanted to know, are we in on Donovan Dent?
No, this was one of the top players in the portal, but he has since committed to UCLA. This was JT Toppin's teammate, I guess, in New Mexico a year ago. He's a dude. But I would say to you, the price tag there is probably what D5 or JT would command. I mean, hefty price. Like, okay, I mean, I guess you could have. But he committed, but you hadn't even played your last game yet, and he had already committed to UCLA, and he got like Coleman Hawkins type money. Coleman Hawkins, the kid at Kansas State, and to what I would say there is probably wiser money spent on Donovan Dent than Coleman Hawkins, because Dent is somebody that I think makes everybody better, and I'm not sure that Coleman Hawkins necessarily would do that. So it's, again, so much money. How do I want to spend it? What kind of player do I want to spend it? And again, square peg, round hole sometimes, but I think you have to just understand what, how you want to allocate your funds.
I thought you were going to say because he wasn't a guy that would cry after a game because of how hard it is to be young and rich and have a social media account. But you didn't say that, so that was my bad.
Oh, man.
Andrea wants to know, why would Buzz leave A&M for Maryland?
I think this is what, Buzz Williams and Chris Beard are largely the same coach. They never stay in any one place for too long. I think that he got to a point where I think you see, okay, football's getting a lot of this, football's getting a lot of that. I'm having a harder time pushing this or pushing that. And so these people are, it's a change of scenery and they're basketball hungry. In fact, they have said to me, we'll allocate a bit more revenue sharing to you. We'll give you a little bit more NIL. We'll give you a bit more as far as just basketball only. And their leadership there even said, because they don't have an AD at Maryland, but their AD even said, it'd be much easier for us to win a hoops title than a football title. I mean, no kidding. And so I think they're willing to play that role a bit. And so, because Buzz Williams is a good coach. I mean, you could do a lot worse. I don't know if he's good enough to ever win it, or if he's if he's a top 10 coach, but he's darn sure a top 20 or top 25 coach. And A&M was salty this year. They spent a lot of time in the top 10, top 15 and whatnot. We saw them up close, and they beat who did they beat? Auburn this year. And so, anyway, but that's exactly why Willard left Maryland to go to Villanova, for the same reasons that Buzz left A&M to go to Maryland.
Yeah.
That's the thing about this rev share stuff, is that the Villanovas, the Creightons, the St. Johnses, a lot of the Big East flavor, I don't have a football program to worry about. So I can spend $7 million, and these Power 4 football schools are only going to rev share 3.8, 3.9, or $4 million. It's a significant difference, and I think that's what Kevin Willard was like. Only game in town. I'll go to Villanova and play that game, as opposed to sitting here trying to fight for getting to stay an extra night in New York, which is what he was complaining about.
Right. All right. Thank you for that question, Mason, Ryan, Mike. Let's see, Matthew as well, all asking about chances with David Bailey, a guy we talked about earlier in the week, Stanford transfer, who subsequently, I guess, has visited the University of Texas. And depending upon when you're hearing this, things could have already changed, I suppose. Is there anything to report as far as the latest there, Chris?
I think everybody's operating definitely with the April the 7th timeline here. I think you'll get a decision pretty quick. I think that what he wants is a primary role to where he really never comes off the field. I think you're in a much better position to offer him that, as opposed to Texas. I mean, a lot of the Texas fan base either, one, don't think he's any good, or two, are like, we don't even need this guy. Look at all these dudes we got sitting over here, these 5-star this and that. Like, we don't. And you don't feel that way. I think you like what you've got, but you would definitely love to add this guy.
We'd like to have you here.
Absolutely. Like to be in the David Bailey business, sir. And I think it's been indicated to me that the money's largely the same. So it comes down to what league I want to play in, what city I want to live in, what role I have, and all that. Because I don't think, Tech's not going to get beat on money on this one in particular. Okay. So but I think a decision is imminent. I'll just say that.
Okay.
And I think you're in a pretty good spot. I'll say that. I think you're in a pretty good spot.
Hayden wants to know if we could choose an all-time starting 6-man head coach from the past decade. Who are we going with? He did at least give us some time parameters. I appreciate that. So that's only going back to 2015. That's wiping out some good teams prior to that from the Bob Knight era.
Man, I need some time there. That question sucks. Yet that question is great because, oh my, that's some tough. Oh man, I feel like a kick. That's a kick in the stomach right there.
I can give you mine. It's going to be Keenan Evans. It's going to be Jarrett Culver. It's going to be Zach Smith. It's going to be Tariq Owens, and it's going to be JT Toppin. I'm going triple towers, and I know I'm leaving some really good players out of that. Give me Darion Williams as a 6 man, and give me the guy we got right now as your head coach.
It's a guard's game, man. It's a guard's game.
Not when I get in the tournament. It's a triple towers game. Don't even look at the rim. We'll smack you in the face just for thinking about shooting it.
I'm not so sure. Okay, I don't disagree with your Keenan Evans answer.
Left out Bryson Williams.
But I got to tell you, I'm not leaving out, and this is going to sound maybe weird. I'm not leaving Zaire Smith out of my top starting 5. And the reason I say that is I've never seen a guy like him that could guard all 5 spots on the floor with that kind of athleticism. Point guard, 7-footer, he could handle it. He could also beat Florida, with an alley-oop on the baseline right there and send you to the Sweet 16.
360. By the way.
Yeah, but man, you've had some dudes around here. Tariq Owens is an easy answer, but see, it's like you're thinking defense, but like Bryson Williams, sheesh. Yeah. That question sucks, man.
Somebody's got to dribble the ball on my team. I don't know who that's going to be. Keenan?
I know. Well, yeah, he would handle your point. Yeah, I'm going to say I would like to punt on said topic, and I would like to get into that further because that is a hell of a question.
We could pose it to the public as well, get some feedback maybe next week.
Because the beautiful part about that question is there's an eye of the beholder component to it, and there's not any wrong answers. There's potentially a lot of right ones, and you could point and argue and scream probably at the other guy, and you could both be right in some senses. But damn, that question sucks. But man, is it good.
Chance McMillan can't even get a mention.
See, and he's so good.
Williams off.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I mean, and you already kicked my man Elijah Hawkins to the curb, and all he did was drop 7 or 8 dimes a game. Shame on
fine.
you.
Put your man Keenan Evans on the curb. You're not going to like that either.
I know.
Whose man's is this? All right. Thank you for that question. Jonathan wants to know best cut of steak. That's the ribeye, Jonathan. But don't sleep on the flat iron.
The only one that's better, and on rare occasion if I had it, is the tomahawk ribeye.
There you go. This is a man that knows what he's saying. Let's see. Jared wants to know, Casey, what's it like being in the press box announcing for Tech football? Was it difficult to get used to? Is there training for that sort of thing? Yes, commonly known as ABCs. I just screwed it up right there. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. You may be surprised to know, as I was when I was first escorted to the box and shown the seat from which I would operate. It's the only seat I've ever seen in Jones AT&T Stadium behind something. The one man who is expected to observe and call what's happening, I am seated behind a window seam. I've never seen a seam. I've been in the press boxes, been in suites, club level. It's all this seamless glass for visibility's sake. I'm the only man, I think, in the building, Chris, aside from, I don't know, somebody who got stuck in the urinal and just doesn't know it, who's sitting behind something. So that's kind of what it's like. It's a lot more fun whenever there's touchdowns and first downs to be called.
Yeah, because you kind of have to move around a little bit in said seat to be able to see the full
That's right.
field.
Whenever they head north, we get a certain angle here. When they head south, they get a certain angle here.
There you
so
go.
If you ever hear a pause, it's because I'm crossing over that window seam, I guess is all I could say. Or I'm choking.
And no, Cowan didn't practice. He's just that damn good.
There was some.
You had one run through.
I'd read before in my life.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're reading a script, but I mean, it's not like you had training like MC training class 101. No, that wasn't. You're just good at what you do.
It's the military weekend, Screwing up the shout outs for Joe Blow from Timbuktu, who got a grant to study 3-legged chickens in South America. I mean, I'm glad you're here in a Red Raider, Joe Blow. But stumbling over salute to service. I didn't want to mess that up. I was a little nervous then. And of course, some of the shout outs, the Ring of Honor inductions, things like that, you don't really want to biff those either.
No.
For some of those legends that were on the field.
Yeah.
Maybe looking forward to another go around if I'm invited back. One more question here before we wrap it up, Chris. Jeff wants to know, talking Red Raider football, give me a position group I need to pay not just attention, extra attention to. Can you leave us with one?
Well, and I guess I wish I knew in what way, like why, because that could be like you need to pay attention to them because, or you really need to pay, like, is this good or bad?
Let's just go on the good side since this is supposed to be a fun thing.
I mean, I feel like that, and we've got so much time in the off season to kind of go over all these things. I guess I'd say corner, just because you've got Mo Horn and you've added 4 corners that I think that you only plan on adding, say, 2 or 3 in the portal, and then you get a couple of guys that've got multi-years left and going, yeah, I can we really tell this kid to walk out of here and not add him? But yet only 2-ish will start, and yeah, you'll see more, and you got a nickel guy, and maybe some of them get trained to be safety and all that stuff. But I think you really have added 4 legit corners and one of your starters last year in Mo Horn. Pretty fascinating to me, math.
So.
Unless you're playing a team that's going to go 4 wide all season long, somebody gets squeezed there. But again, you changed your entire secondary, and I'm not even talking about Cole Wisniewski, because you added 5 DBs, not 4. Sure. But Wisniewski is clearly more of a safety. That one is piqued my interest for sure, just because I don't know what the answers are going to be, and give me any combination, I'll be like, sure, man, go for it. Because we'll probably see them all in time, but sure is a nice problem to have, instead of please Braylon Lux don't get hurt.
Exactly.
Please Braylon Lux don't get hurt.
Someone grow to taller than 5'7". I think you could also throw in like offensive front, defensive front, like these spots where you really had an infusion of some new names and we hope some new talent. Those are just going to be the most interesting to me, because there's going to be a squeeze here or there with somebody, I think, in all of those spots. And we all just hope at the end of the day, the juice you're getting as a result of the squeeze is some good juice for Texas Tech.
I love when the juice is worth the squeeze. Ain't no doubt.
Citrus analogy to wrap it up. Yeah. All right, Chris, thanks for a little extra time. This was a bit of a marathon mailbag, but it's been a while, so we wanted to catch up with the Matador Mob. We appreciate you guys for being out there. Thanks for the questions. As always, keep them coming anytime. Chris, thank you, man. We'll see you for the next one.
Hope it is alive. Enjoyed it. Keep sending us these questions all throughout the off season and the portaling, and we'll take this ride together. So it could have some loop-de-loops, could be upside down. You could have your legs dangling a little bit. I'm not sure way this roller coaster is going to go. So, you could go through a tunnel and then you come out and it's like all the light. I mean, I'm not real sure what the hell's going on half the damn time, but hopefully we get some news rather quickly, because it sure could be that way. So enjoy the weekend, people. That's right. And you hope when you come out of the tunnel that light is not an oncoming train. We don't exactly know. It's like, when you walk out of the movie theater and you're in this dark, fairly air conditioned, you walk out and the sun hits you and you sneeze. Yes. It's like, it drives me crazy. And I know it's coming. I can't prepare myself for it. It's just like the change in temperature. It's like, it hits me and it's like, achoo, Sure. So, yeah. The movie theater, or possibly the rising sun after an all-nighter for someone else, not us though. All right. Like Varsity Blues. That's exactly right. When they came out of the club. Yeah. You got to play today. Play on and play every day. I tell you to get subscribed or become a Matador Mobster. You're probably all of those things, because you are men and women of excellent taste. So thank you for being out there, and we'll see you for the next one. Have a great weekend.